Hi folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report, and I'm here this week with Rust Eddy. And Rust, you were telling me something, I guess it was just a few days ago, but I was complaining to you. I said, this year the water level has been so high in all our waters. And it really, in my mind, affects the fishing. And it really affects my smallmouth fishing in the rivers because I can't wade it the same, and the fish aren't in the same pools. But you have sort of a different take on that because one of the things that Russ loves to do is fish muskies in these rivers. He's one of the best muskie fishermen I've ever seen. He has very specific ways of going about it. But this last week, when the water was high, you went out with Melissa, and the two of you experienced a different type of fishing than you've ever had in all these years muskie fishing. Explain that, if you can, to everybody.
So, you're right. The water's been really high, and I'll be the first to admit that lower water makes muskie fishing on the rivers a little easier. I have some theories, but my experience is when the water's lower, they're easier to find and they're a little more aggressive. When the water's up and after a rain, it's a little more murky. The hunt, the muskie bite, the hunt is fewer and further between. Well, this particular day, the water had been very, very high, but I noticed that the river had come down a little and cleared up a little. And it had been high for a long time. It was still high, but I thought, on a whim, let's just go out in the evening and see what happens. And sure enough, it was an evening crazy muskie bite. One at the dusk when the light is dissolving in front of you, the light is disappearing and the muskies are appearing, and it was one of those moments that the hair on the back of your neck stands up because any cast could have resulted in a muskie. But here's the thing: instead of getting these big wakes from far away, instead of targeting a specific spot where you think they are and throwing it and having the eruption, these fish were just appearing out of the blue. I'd be reeling the lure back halfway back from the riverbank, and I'd be expecting nothing, and the water would blow up from nowhere. The fish just appeared, and this happened over and over. The first few times scared the heck out of both of us. Then it was just, we were ready for them, but we could not be ready for what was going to happen next, because whatever happened next was another muskie explosion. Now, I'll tell you, of all those fish, we only landed 2. We used single hooks and with little bass lures, little horny toad style bass lures, and we lose a lot of fish. I take that back. We don't lose them. We miss them. We encounter them, and having that encounter, that interaction with that fish is priceless. And that night was really special because those fish did appear to us in a new and really exciting manner.
Well, it changes it for me, although I wasn't part of it, but I don't like high water fishing. It's not the same. But if I was to experience something like Russ and Melissa did, I'll tell you what, it might change my fishing forever. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner and Rust Eddy with the North Country Fishing Report.